Hi, welcome back to Flying Wrench Garage, where today it's a cold day in Ohio. We're waiting on a winter storm to show up. It's supposed to snow a bunch, and you might hear the furnace running back here in the background. I apologize for that. I ordered a mic to be able to pick up my voice better and maybe cut out some of the background noise, but it hasn't showed up yet. What we're going to do today is review the Carpuride W702 CarPlay adapter for motorcycles. It's a waterproof unit. Got it off of Amazon, and also does AndroidAuto. It connects through Bluetooth, and it allows you to be able to have CarPlay on a single DIN stereo, or even for it to come through your headset in maybe a Bluetooth helmet or something like that. You can Bluetooth it directly to this unit and use your microphone and headset to be able to listen to your music, get directions from Google Maps or Apple Maps, listen to podcasts and everything else. Basically everything that you can use Apple CarPlay for in your car, you can add it to a vehicle that does not have CarPlay. I ride a 2011 Kawasaki Vaquero 1700. It has a single DIN style stereo in it right now, which doesn't allow you to have enough space to install a stereo that you can have a full screen on it to have CarPlay. I've looked into the single DIN CarPlay units, and I think with the screen being as small as they are, it would make it difficult to see the maps, see commands and stuff like that. Whereas this can be mounted directly to your handlebars, or what I'm going to do is I have an adapter that I use a Garmin on already, and I'm going to fabricate a little piece of a bracket to space it out to where I can mount this right up on the top of the dash on my bike, connects to my stereo through Bluetooth, and then my phone will connect to this wirelessly. Why don't we go ahead and open the box here and take a look at the unit, see what exactly we have. This is the unit itself. It's got a 7-inch screen on it, has a visor to kind of block out the sun. It does have a ram mount style ball on the back, but what I have noticed on here is the bolt pattern for the back isn't like a typical amps style, so you have to use this if you're using the ram style bracket. What I'm going to do is I have a bracket already on my bike that I've built. I'm going to modify a spacer to go in here so that I can mount it directly to that bracket and have it mounted up on top of my dash, because I don't want extra things hanging out on my handlebars, especially something this big. It does come with waterproof connection, and let's see here. It comes with two different style connectors to hook it up. This one goes directly to a 12-volt power source and the ground, and then this plugs into the back of the unit. This one here plugs into a USB port, and then the other end also goes into the unit. Now these are waterproof connectors because this one's specially built to go on the bike. In the box here, we also have the ram mount for connecting it to your handlebars, if that's the way that you want to go with it. It has the U-style clamp that would connect to your handlebars, and then the ram mount would go in there, and it would allow you to be able to move it around and adjust it to whatever riding position or viewing position is best. I don't want to mount it that way because this it seems like a very big unit. Now, this does come in a 5-inch unit as well. But because of where I'm going to mount it and how I'm going to mount it, I thought the 7-inch unit would be much nicer. Got my bracket built, and I just used a little bit of scrap metal, bent it around to form the curve of my dash, and added a mounting hole for the center bolt of my windshield. On the Carpuride unit, like I was saying before, the mounting on here is not the standard bolt spacing for an amps bracket, and I needed a spacer to go between the mount that I built and the unit to bring it just slightly back from the dash. So I bought a amps style spacer, just took a drill bit, kind of hogged out the holes a little bit, so that it does line up with the unit itself. Now I was told on some of the forums that I had been checking on that the mount is actually a heat sink for the processor right here. I don't want to use the RAM mount because I don't want it up on my handlebars. I want it mounted up on my dash. So I'm going to take a die grinder, cut this off so that way I can keep the heat sink here and then mount the spacer to the back of the unit and then mount it to my bracket here. It uses M3 and by 35 millimeter screws is what I need to go through the bracket, through the amps spacer, and into the unit itself. Then I'll be taking the fairing off the bike and wiring it direct. The other reviews that I saw on forums was if you use the USB plug, it may not get enough power and the unit will cycle sometimes, kind of turn off, turn back on. So I am going to wire it direct to a 12 volt source so that way I'm sure that it gets enough power. Just a little close up to show you. This is the bracket that I built. This curve will go over my dash. That connects to the windshield bolt. I added this here just to make sure that it was sturdy enough to not bounce back and forth going down the road. This is the bracket that I was talking about on the Carpuride unit. Here's the processor here, and this is what they were saying was a heat sink. I want to make sure that I keep this on here to make sure that it doesn't get too hot. Take the die grinder, cut this off flush, and then it will be mounted with this spacer here and the bracket to the dash of the bike. This is the bracket. It will mount onto the dash right here, slides down in here, and the center bolt to the windshield will hold the bracket in place. I'm probably going to use maybe some 3M weather strip adhesive just up here to make sure that it it stays put. The 3M weather strip adhesive I found comes off if you put a little bit of heat on it. You can take it off. It doesn't damage any of your paint or anything like that. Then the spacer will go right here. And the unit itself will mount to that up on top of the dash, leaving a gap in between here so there's no rattles. And the slope of the windshield, it will be below the windshield itself, so it's protected, and it will be front and center for my riding position. Let's get the fairing off so that we can get this wired up and try it out. Alright, I got the wiring done. I know it looked a bit more difficult than what it actually is. There's only two wires that you have to hook up. You got your positive and you got your ground. All the stuff that I was doing in here was adding chargers for my phone, upgrading the chargers, adding chargers for my camera, getting rid of some unused wiring that no longer needed. So just kind of clearing it up underneath the fairing, getting rid of a whole pile full of stuff. Now all we gotta do is get it back together. Remember, whenever you're working around your shop, whether you're grinding, drilling, welding, what have you, make sure that you use your safety glasses, or at least your safety squints. Alright, we'll start putting this together on the bracket here. This is the part that I said they told me it was the heat sink. So I'm going to put that back in there and then mount that over top of it. It does have a gasket all around here, so that probably helps seal it off. Put that on there and then mount my bracket on like this. I think I'm going to use these fender washers here to try to get as good a bite on the screws as I can. Well, finally we got it all hooked up. Got it connected by Bluetooth to the Kenwood stereo and got it attached to my phone through CarPlay. It's wireless CarPlay, and first thing is to
connect it to the stereo first, or your headset or something like that, and then connect it to the Bluetooth on your phone. I tried it the other way around, and for some reason it wouldn't connect to the stereo. It was a bit confusing. This is going to be your menu for the Carpuride itself. And it's got different settings. I think that's the only page. It shows you your battery voltage. You got your brightness settings here. You can turn it brighter, dimmer. You've got your equalizer here. Now, it is something that you kind of have to play with. The equalizer on your stereo, on the Bluetooth audio, and the equalizer on the Carpuride in order to get it set the way that you want it. Then you've got volume. This is your media volume. Also your phone call volume and your mic volume. Touch this up here. It's already connected to my phone, and it's just got everything on here that I have on my phone that is available through CarPlay. Just like on your car, tap that there, brings up your audio controls here, and your voice commands for Google Maps or whatever your preferred program is. Since I'm at the house and I have an Apple HomeKit, it automatically switches to allow me to open my garage door through CarPlay. If you tap on your Google Maps, just like in your CarPlay, it brings it up full screen. Tap over on your music here, and it brings up your music folder. Here's some royalty-free, copyright-free music here. Just show you how it works.
Head west on Minnesota Drive toward Louisiana Drive.
Pauses your music.
Hillbilly hot dogs may be closed by the time you arrive. Your route may be affected by flood warning.
It pauses your music in order to give you your commands. So, I think I'm going to like it.